Honorable Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi, Honorable Foreign Minister Sergey Lavrov, friends and colleagues from the media, good morning and welcome to the joint press briefing by the Honorable Foreign Ministers of Pakistan and the Russian Federation. May I request Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi sahab for his remarks, please.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I am delighted to welcome Foreign Minister Sergey Lavrov to the Foreign Ministry. We've just concluded our delegation level talks and they have been very comprehensive. We've covered practically everything and we can share that with you. But what I want to say is that Pakistan today, and I shared this with the Foreign Minister, is keen to build a strong multi-dimensional relations with Russia, and it's a priority for us. So there is a new approach, a new mindset for Russia, and this is a significant statement that I'm making, because we feel that not just that we have geographical proximity, which we do. Russia is a factor of stability for this region, and not just at the regional level, they're a factor of stability at the global stage. We want to build a relationship of trust and friendship with the Russian Federation. Russia has been a strong advocate of the centrality of the United Nations. They have always advocated primacy of international law and multilateralism, and these are principles that Pakistan adheres to. Our coordination and our cooperation at the UN level has been excellent, and we just discussed that and we shared that, and it is continuously improving, and we intend to improve it further. We feel that Russia contributes to regional stability, and our good relations add to regional stability and to global security. We want to deepen our bilateral relations and create win-win cooperation between our two countries. We discussed, as I mentioned earlier, the entire spectrum of our bilateral relations. We discussed how we can promote economic relations and trade. We realized that our trade touched a new level last year, but then it was primarily because we imported more wheat from Russia. But we have plenty of opportunities of broadening our trade links, and we will certainly look into them. Investments and economic cooperation, sky is the limit. We've decided and we've agreed that while we could not hold our bilateral political consultations because of the COVID situation, but we've agreed that during this year, hopefully soon, in Moscow, we will convene the Intergovernmental Commission, and that will lay the foundations for a more meaningful economic interaction between Russia and Pakistan. We also took stock of the energy cooperation between two countries and the north-south gas pipeline. I'm happy to share with you that we have overcome many of the impediments, and I have reassured we received their response on some of the amendments that we had proposed to the intergovernmental agreement on the 2nd of April. That is under consideration, and I have reassured the Foreign Minister that Pakistan wants to go ahead and is committed to this project because we are net beneficiaries. We are energy deficient, and we benefit from it. We've also looked at our cooperation in defense, counterterrorism, and we feel that we have, within our framework of dialogue, strategic stability and counterterrorism opportunities of interaction, and we feel that we can help each other. And I am grateful to the Foreign Minister. It is acknowledged the progress Pakistan has made in defeating and reversing, terrorism and extremism, and they are more than happy to even further build our capacity on that score. We've also discussed the Afghan situation. Today, Russia and Pakistan see eye to eye on a lot of issues that are being discussed in Afghanistan. We are both interested in restoring peace and stability, and there's very good cooperation taking place on that score. We've also discussed the successful, the successful expanded Troika meeting, the possibility of another Moscow format meeting, and instructed our envoys to stay in close contact, to remain in touch and coordinate their positions. I briefed the Foreign Minister on the larger question of peace and security in South Asia, our perspective. I gave him our perspective, the fragility of the situation on our border with India, the situation in Jammu and Kashmir on human rights is a concern, has been a concern. But I also shared with him a recent positive development, and that is that both sides have recommitted to ceasefire. The understanding, 2003 ceasefire understanding, which is definitely reduced tension and has been welcomed on both sides of the line of control. So, there's a lot I can say, but I have limited time and he has to speak and we have to go and meet the Prime Minister. I would conclude by saying that this visit is an important visit. It has taken place after almost a decade, and we feel this visit will further deepen our bilateral relations and our friendship, and we intend to maintain this momentum and our high-level contacts. And I would want to conclude on this quote from a famous Russian poet who happens to be the Foreign Minister of Russia and my guest. And I quote, "The road ahead is just the beginning of the road home." So welcome home to your region.
Большое спасибо, уважаемый господин министр. Дамы и господа, я хотел бы начать с выражения признательности нашим пакистанским хозяевам за очень радушный и теплый прием.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister. I would like to state that I'm grateful to our hosts in Pakistan who have accorded us a very cordial welcome.
Российско-пакистанские отношения носят конструктивный, взаимовыгодный характер.
Relations between Russia and Pakistan are constructive and mutually beneficial.
У нас установился доверительный политический диалог, в том числе на высшем и высоком уровнях.
We have established a confidential political dialogue, including at the high and highest levels.
И отрадно, что регулярность двусторонних контактов удалось сохранить, несмотря на пандемию коронавируса.
And I'm glad that we were able to preserve our dynamic political dialogue despite the pandemic of the coronavirus.
Мы удовлетворены тем, что прошлый год стал рекордным для двустороннего товарооборота. Его объем увеличился более чем на 45% и достиг $790 миллионов.
I am satisfied by the fact that the mutual trade has increased by 46% and hit the record $790 million.
У нас общее мнение, что это не предел, и нужно искать пути по дальнейшему углублению нашего экономического взаимодействия, и решающую роль здесь призвана сыграть межправительственная комиссия заседание, которое в этом году должно состояться в России.
And we both agree that this is not a limit and we should further develop our economic relations. The key role here is played by the organization and by the session of the Intergovernmental Commission, and this year it takes place in Russia.
У нас состоялось обсуждение перспектив сотрудничества в энергетике. Флагманский проект здесь – газопровод Север-Юг из Карачи в Лахор.
We've also discussed our cooperation in the area of energy, and the flagship project here is the gas pipeline north-south in Lahore and Karachi.
У нас есть соответствующее межправительственное соглашение 2015 года. Сейчас уточняются некоторые вопросы, которые станут частью протокола к этому соглашению. Надеюсь, что он будет подписан, и мы сможем быстро приступить к работе.
Here we have an agreement of 2015, and we have been discussing the protocol to this agreement, and as soon as it's signed, we can launch the construction of the pipeline.
Мы подтвердили готовность российской стороны продолжать содействовать укреплению антитеррористического потенциала Пакистана, включая поставки соответствующей техники.
We've confirmed that we stand ready to strengthen the anti-terrorist potential of Pakistan, including by supplying Pakistan with the special military equipment.
Мы считаем, что это отвечает интересам всех государств региона.
This serves interests of all states of the region.
Договорились продолжать практику регулярных совместных тактических учений в горных условиях «Дружба», а также военно-морских учений «Аравийский муссон» по борьбе с терроризмом и пиратством.
We also agreed that we need to further conduct exercises and drills in the mountains called Friendship and maritime exercises called Arabian Monsoon.
Совпадающих или близких позиций мы обсудили международные дела.
Besides, we discussed international affairs where we have congenial views.
У нас общий интерес в том, чтобы продолжать и усиливать координацию на международных площадках, включая Организацию Объединенных Наций.
We both agree that it serves our interest to coordinate our views in international organizations such as the UN.
Мы также констатировали, что с момента присоединения к Шанхайской организации сотрудничества в качестве полноправного члена 3 года назад пакистанские коллеги активно участвуют в практической деятельности этой организации, включая ее региональную антитеррористическую структуру.
We also agree that once Pakistan acceded to Shanghai Cooperation Organization 3 years ago, it has been very active in its practical work, including the anti-terrorist structure.
Мы, как и наши пакистанские коллеги, серьезно озабочены деградацией ситуации в сфере безопасности в Афганистане. Там растет террористическая активность, укрепляются позиции ИГИЛ на севере и востоке страны.
We are also concerned by the deterioration of the situation in the area of security in Afghanistan and by the rise of terrorist activities and the march of ISIL in north and east of the country.
Мы договорились и далее содействовать созданию условий для того, чтобы противоборствующие стороны вышли на конструктивные развязки, которые позволят прекратить гражданскую войну в Афганистане через договоренности о формировании инклюзивных структур власти.
We agreed that we need to further facilitate the contradictory and hostile parties for them to reach agreements to put an end to civil war based on the inclusive political dialogue.
Именно на достижение этих целей была направлена встреча так называемой расширенной тройки в Москве 18 марта с участием России, Китая, США и Пакистана по афганскому регулированию.
To this end, on March 18th in Moscow took place the expanded troika with the participation of Russia, China, USA and Pakistan.
Рассмотрели ситуацию на Ближнем Востоке и на севере Африки, в частности в Сирии, Ливии, Йемене, а также ситуацию в палестино-израильском урегулировании.
Besides, we discussed the situation in the Middle East and North Africa and the conflicts in Syria, Yemen, Libya and Palestine and Israel.
Мы считаем, что на фоне бурных событий в регионе непозволительно придавать забвению задачу создания палестинского государства.
We believe that against the backdrop of the tensions in the region, we should not forget the task of establishing a state of Palestine.
Россия готова содействовать прямому диалогу между палестинцами и израильтянами и будет активно продвигать этот подход.
Russia stands ready to facilitate the direct dialogue between Palestine and Israel and will do everything in its forces to do that.
Мы подробно обсудили ситуацию в Азиатско-Тихоокеанском регионе.
Besides, we discussed in detail the situation in Asia-Pacific.
Здесь сейчас разворачиваются неоднозначные процессы, выстраивается под эгидой Вашингтона разобщающая геополитическая конструкция, продвигаются стратегии, которые противоречат всему тому, что в Азиатско-Тихоокеанском регионе делалось до сих пор.
Here we see uncertain processes that happen because the USA promotes divisive strategies that change everything and the stability in the region.
Мы категорически против попыток выстраивать здесь разделительные линии, и мы за то, чтобы сохранить структуры, которые были сформированы, открытые структуры при центральной роли ASEAN.
We are categorically against new division lines. Instead, we promote the preservation of those structures that have been here, including with the key role of ASEAN.
В ходе переговоров мы также приветствовали недавние шаги Индии и Пакистана по нормализации двусторонних отношений.
In the course of the talks, we also touched upon the fact that India and Pakistan started talks on the normalization of relations. We welcome that.
В целом я весьма удовлетворен состоявшимися переговорами, и в том числе мы зафиксировали взаимную готовность к дальнейшему расширению российско-пакистанских связей.
In general, I'm satisfied by the outcomes of the talks, and I would like to state that we stand ready to further deepen relations between Russia and Pakistan.
Спасибо.
Thank you.
Thank
At one
you.
point, I just forgot to mention the Sputnik vaccine. The Sputnik vaccine, it's been registered in Pakistan, it's being applied in Pakistan, it is giving good results, and we are interested in commercial purchase of 5 million doses from Russia, depending on the availability and your production levels, and keeping our population in view. I think there are opportunities of local production and joint ventures, and there are interested parties who would want to examine this. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Foreign Ministers have agreed to take some questions. So before the question, please introduce yourself, your media outlet, and also state who your question is addressed to. Ji Zulkarnain Sahab from ARY.
Thank you. Zulkarnain from ARY News. My question to Russian Foreign Minister. Excellency, Government of Pakistan focus on trade. How do you see the future of Pakistan and Russia bilateral trade? Thank you.
Can you repeat that again?
How do
Future
you
of what?
How do you see the future of Pakistan and Russia trade?
Trade.
Yeah.
Ну, на этот счет мы уже несколько слов сказали.
Well, we've already touched upon this issue.
У нас вот был очень существенный рост товарооборота в прошлом году, но в основном это было достигнуто за счет поставок российской пшеницы на более чем 200 миллионов долларов.
I've already mentioned that we had a substantive growth of the mutual trade, but this happened mainly because of the trade in wheat. We've supplied to Pakistan over 200 million tons of it.
Мы заинтересованы в том, чтобы придать тенденции увеличения товарооборота устойчивый характер. Для этого нужно наши отношения в этой сфере диверсифицировать.
We want to make this increase sustainable, and to this end we need to diversify our trade.
Важную роль здесь призван сыграть проект сооружения газопровода север-юг между Карачи и Лахором, мы уже об этом говорили.
As we've already mentioned, an important role here belongs to the construction of the north-south gas pipeline between Karachi and Lahore.
Некоторое время назад был обоюдный интерес к поставкам российского сжиженного природного газа по линии компаний «Газпром», «Роснефть» и «Новатэк».
Besides, we talked about the delivery of the Russian LNG by such Russian companies as Gazprom, Rosneft, and Novatek.
Соответствующие предложения были сделаны, мы ожидаем реакции наших пакистанских партнеров.
We've already made such offers, and we are waiting for the response of our partners in Pakistan.
Еще одна новая сфера, касающаяся энергетики, это наше сотрудничество между Росатомом и Комиссией по ядерной энергетике Пакистана.
One more new area of cooperation in the area of energy is cooperation between Rosatom and the Nuclear Energy Commission of Pakistan.
И сейчас обсуждается в практическом плане конкретные взаимодействия в сфере неэнергетического использования ядерной энергии в мирных целях, в частности в медицине и в промышленности.
They have been discussing interaction in the non-energy field, that is the use of nuclear energy in medicine and industry.
Вот. И я думаю, что эти и другие направления, которые также будут обсуждаться в рамках межправительственной комиссии, помогут придать дополнительную устойчивость нашим связям.
These and other areas of cooperation that will be discussed within the Intergovernmental Commission will help to make our interaction more sustainable.
I'd like to add. You see, the current level of trade, to me, is a lot is desired. I think there's a lot of room of improvement. As this region gets integrated and we are pursuing this policy of regional connectivity, I see trade with Russia and many other Central Asian republics grow in the days ahead. And I would also like to mention, we discussed in our talks the opportunity that Pakistan has in getting Russian expertise in modernizing our energy sector. You know, there's an interest in Jamshoro, Gudru, you know, they can be modernized by their help. As well as that, and on top of that, they're also willing to modernize your railways, you know, and that is very important. So there are opportunities of trade and investment in the days ahead.
We can take one question from the Russian media, if any.
My name's Igor Zhdanov. I'm with RT, and my question is to both ministers. Mr. Qureshi has already touched upon this subject. My question is on vaccines. Russia's Sputnik V has already been approved for, well, private businesses for private distribution on commercial basis, and despite its quite high cost, it has already proven very popular, especially among young Pakistanis. Could you please elaborate and expand on what you've just mentioned as to how does this probably pave the way and expand the possibilities of Russia and Pakistan cooperation when it comes to vaccine production, manufacturing, to its distribution, and so on and so forth? Thank you so much.
Okay. Well, as we know that Russia is a fairly advanced country in healthcare, and this discovery and this production is unique and well accepted in the country. It has shown good results. People like it. People are feeling confident about it, and we have expressed our interest in commercial import of this vaccine. But keeping in view the population of this country, 220 million people, we feel there are great opportunities of local production, and we would be very keen to discuss with the Russians how we can facilitate local production.
Я могу только добавить, что действительно мы обсуждали этот вопрос. В Пакистан уже поставлено 50 тысяч доз, скоро поступит еще 150 тысяч. Конечно, как сказал господин министр, потребности Пакистана неизмеримо больше, но все сейчас пока упирается в способность производить эту вакцину не только в Российской Федерации, но и в наших странах, которые являются нашими зарубежными партнерами. Такое производство уже налажено и в Индии, сейчас начинается в Корее, в Беларуси, как вы знаете, в ряде других стран. И, конечно, мы будем готовы в силу имеющихся возможностей стараться помочь пакистанским коллегам удовлетворить их потребности, но здесь, опять же, у нас обязательства перед теми странами, которые раньше обратились к нам с этой просьбой. Но я считаю, это очень перспективная тема, и наши соответствующие эксперты будут работать над ее реализацией.
I can only add to this that indeed we discussed that, and we already mentioned that we have supplied to Pakistan 50,000 doses of the vaccine, and soon we will add 150,000 more doses. Of course, the demand in the country is much higher, but we are limited only by the production capacity. We've already established production lines in certain countries like India, Korea, Belarus, and of course we stand ready to help Pakistan to satisfy its demand in the vaccines, but we are also bound by contractual obligations to the countries that have asked earlier for the vaccine. But of course this is a promising area of cooperation and we are ready to work here.
Amjad.
Thank you very much. Amjad Ali from State Broadcaster PTV News. My question to the Honorable Foreign Minister of the Russian Federation is, His Excellency, what's the status of Pakistan Stream gas pipeline, North-South gas pipeline?
Мне кажется, мы только что об этом подробно говорили.
I think we just discussed that in detail.
Есть соглашение 2015 года, которому сейчас вот обсуждается протокол, поскольку возникли обстоятельства, которые должны быть дополнительно учтены. Как только протокол наши пакистанские коллеги будут готовы подписать, проект начнет реализовываться.
There is an agreement of 2015, as I just mentioned, and now we are discussing a new protocol. There are, of course, new circumstances that we need to take into consideration, and as soon as it's signed, we are going to construct the pipeline.
In one sentence, the prospects are very good.
Yes, please.
Лейла Тураянова, агентство ТАСС. Вопрос обоим министрам, и он опять же по энергетике. Ранее Россия подписала с Ираном и Пакистаном меморандумы о взаимопонимании по проекту морского газопровода Иран-Пакистан-Индия. Однако об этом проекте уже довольно давно ничего не слышно. Рассматривается ли он сейчас в практическом плане, или же он заморожен из-за обострения противоречий между Индией и Пакистаном? Спасибо.
We've heard about pipeline between Iran, Pakistan and India. There was an MOU signed, but we haven't heard anything about this pipeline for a long time. Is it because the project is frozen?
Мы эту тему сегодня не обсуждали, я не могу на этот вопрос ответить, просто не владею информацией.
We did not discuss this topic today, so I can't answer your question.
The Honorable Foreign Minister has another commitment, so that was the last. Thank you very much.
The Prime Minister is waiting for the Foreign Minister. 11:45 was the meeting time. Sorry about that.